Hey, family. Happy Saturday. Today is April 11th. The time is 15:55, 3:55, and I am still here in the States. I'm here in Kansas City, visiting with a friend of mine, and I cannot believe that it's almost been a month since I've been home. This time is going by so fast. But I have some news to share, which is that I have booked my flight to go back to Dubai next week on the 15th. So I will be heading back home. Um, yeah, it's so crazy. I'm trying to decide how I want to talk about everything that's going on because over the past few days, I have found myself just kind of in reflection as usual. But I stumbled upon this quote from Maya Angelou. And I know the quote, I've heard the quote before, and it's always been something that I've kind of just like sat with. But I recently found the whole interview where she was basically talking about this particular quote. So the quote is, "You are only free when you realize you belong no place. You belong every place, no place at all. The price is high, the reward is great." And it's funny because when I've read this, and that's what I need to figure out, I've read this quote somewhere, and the way that I interpret it, or the way that it lands on my heart, is that you're basically free when you realize that you are your own freedom. You are the one who, like, wherever you are, that's where you are. That's where you belong at that moment. And when I actually listened to the whole interview, it's a Bill Moyers interview from like 1973. And he was just basically saying, Maya Angelou, you've done this, you've sang, you've written, you've traveled, you've done all of these things. And then the question that he posed was, what type of freedom do you feel like you've had? What type of freedom do you feel that you've experienced by being nomadic and just being able to do what you want to do? And then that's when she responded, at some point you only realize you're free when you realize that you belong nowhere, everywhere, no place, every place. And that's exactly where I am. I think that's a soft way of saying, at this moment, at this time, Dubai is home. And I've continued to say that, but what I'm realizing by being home is how much I'm outgrowing the space. Yeah, so this time home is completely crazy. I mean, I can't even explain it to any other times that I've come home because one, it was impulsive. Two, it's because, a war is going on. And three, it's because it's the first time I've come home where I haven't actually gone home to my hometown. And what's beautiful about that is that my mom, her sister, my nieces, and my nephew, they all came up to Kansas City to visit me. And it was so cool. Oh my goodness, it was so cool. We stayed at a hotel. The hotel was one of those extended stay type things with, the kitchen and the multiple beds and living room and all of that stuff. And I truly enjoyed it. Truly enjoyed it. Didn't know how much I needed to see them. And it was short. It was probably a day and a half. They drove up. It wasn't a far drive at all. And we just spent time together. We went out to dinner. We went to the mall. And the kids, they are crazy, but I love them to death. Oh my goodness. I sat around and made some guacamole for them. And we just, went swimming and did all of this beautiful stuff. So, it doesn't take anything but time and effort. And I mean, that's one of the things that I'm definitely taking back, like just being able to see my family. And then what's beautiful as well is that tomorrow my grandpa is going to come and visit. This is the one who's 88 years old. Everybody done heard something about grandpa. But he was basically like, if you're here, I'm coming to see you. So he's actually going to take the train up and come here for a couple of days. I'm actually wanting to take him to a couple of museums. I know, and even when I was telling him this morning, he's like, okay. And I said, well, is there anything that you want to do? He's like, yeah, we can just sit, talk, and drink some cocktails. And in my mind, I'm like, let's be tourists. So I'm excited about that. And it really is. I guess I'm finally in this space of like getting ready to transition my mind to go back. I've spent a lot of time thrifting. Ooh, I should show you all some of the goodies that I got. Kansas City is very well stocked with thrift stores, and I ended up going to one the other day, and it had like all of these 1950s, fabrics and blazers and pieces. And I had a good day going thrifting. But yeah, all of that to say, it has been a really, really good time at home. I have not, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to spend time with a lot of folks, but like I said, I don't understand time. I'm also not off, so I'm working and having to accommodate the 9 hour time difference. So I'm having to get up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning to sit in on meetings that are happening over there, and it's good. I mean, it's not a complaint, but I am very much ready to get back. So, kind of connecting it to this, you are only free when you realize you belong nowhere. I am absolutely inspired to write this book. And I mentioned to you all, I think earlier this year, I cannot believe it's April already, but it's been placed upon my heart to write a book. So, since I've been here, there's a museum called the Black Archives of Kansas City or something. And of course, I've been attracted to my dear auntie, Josephine Baker. And they had this special collection of all of her works, well, some of her works, and old newspaper clippings, and some different things that were written about her in different places. And I had the opportunity to go to the museum and just kind of go through some of these pages in this history. And when I tell you, oh my goodness, it is, and I always talk about like how living abroad is, I guess to the average person, it's like this, oh my goodness, you live outside of the States? What's that like? What's it like there? All of that. But as I continue to read about stories like Josephine Baker, who also spent, the majority of her adult life abroad, it's like, this is not new. And many of the things that she experienced and many of the things that she's done, it's like, there's no first. And with this book, my idea is to kind of, talk about my experience and then put my experience in conversation with hers. And, just bring to the forefront how this historic and contemporary narrative, kind of goes together. One of the things that is really, I'm not going to call it shocking because I don't think any of it is a coincidence, but many of you know that. So Josephine Baker was born in St. Louis, Missouri. I think she was born in East St. Louis, Illinois, but I'll do some more digging on it. But anyway, Kansas City, Missouri, they have this archive, and she's part of that. So I've read much about her experience, and one of the things that is kind of in parallel with where I am now is Josephine Baker was a spy for the French resistance during World War II, when Hitler and all this stuff was happening. So she would actually use her songbooks to kind of take down information and bring it back to France to help them basically prepare themselves for the war. And then there are things that have been archived about her doing performances for American soldiers that were placed in different places around France, and she was just basically part of that experience. And now here we are in 2026, where living abroad for me as well, I'm experiencing this war. And it's definitely not that I'm spying, please don't think that. But it is something about having this lived experience and then being able to compare it to Josephine. Those are the things that I want to continue to bring to the forefront, because Maktub, destinies are written, my destiny is written, and my lived experience is, there's so many connections. So actually I was sitting there in the other room just kind of writing and finally getting to the place of taking some of these ideas out of my mind, putting it on paper, and just allowing myself to go through the process. I have not, and that's the honest truth. I have not spent a lot of time keeping up with the news. I am happy to report that, and you all know as well, a couple of days ago, a ceasefire was agreed upon. And from my understanding, things are being negotiated and whatever that looks like and however long it lasts and all that stuff. But I do think there is something very interesting about where we are in the world right now. I think there's something interesting about being 40 because there has been so many things happening in this life. I mean, from, now there's the war, and then there was COVID, and then there was all these, big diseases and all these things that folks my age have had to survive. It I guess what I'm feeling is to put this lived experience, this narrative on paper as something, to just give to the world. Like, hey, I was there when that happened. February 28th will be in my life for a long time, for a long, long time. And yeah, I'm deciding that with this summer, I'm going to go back to the south of France to spend some more time with Josephine. I have not even talked about that. Oh my goodness. Most of that will be left for the book, but I'm super excited. So all of that to say, I am well. Everything is good. Still, every day is a new day. Some days are, I can wake up and function and get things done. Some days are, why can't I just find a husband, stop working, and have somebody take care of me for the rest of my life? Or why can't I just be royalty? And then some days are just like, I don't think I'm going to get out of this bed today. I almost ordered Imo's the other day too. I'm going to have to get it before I leave because that's one of my staple foods. When I'm home, I got to get my Imo's. But yeah, everything is good. Like I said, I'm excited to go back. I'm excited to get back to some type of normalcy and, back to the day-to-day life. And then we're going to finish up the rest of this school year and get ready for summer break. So that's where my mind is. I'm so grateful, and I'm so blessed. I think that's one of the things that I am not giving enough time and space to, just because, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was just basically saying that, there's not a lot of people who are in a position to where, missiles are going. And that was a beautiful thing for me. Literally on a Monday, I made a decision that I was going to come home. By that Wednesday, I was on a flight coming home. And he and I were basically talking. He has a French passport. And he's like, to be in a position where, your passport allows you to be able to book a flight and come home, or you have enough finances to, book a trip and then just fly, days after, when, you have the freedom to be able to decide, I'm going to go back, I'm going to come back, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It was just a beautiful realization to continue to focus on the things that are the blessing, rather than, the things that aren't happening and, the folks that aren't showing up. So I just, I have to continue to be in absolute grace and just remind myself how blessed I am. Just getting the calls and the messages and the check-ins from all of you. I am happy. I'm blessed. I have a lot to share. I'm still in that space of looking for the right medium to share it. But yeah, I like this life. I like this life of mine. All right, that's it. That is it. That is all. Just a very, very brief, quick check-in. I will keep you all posted as far as the beautiful time with Grandpa. And then also as I get ready to go back to the other side of the world, do Bizzle. So love you, love you, love you all. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.